All right, gentlemen, it's time. It's our final game of the day, game number 52. So far today, we've seen 2 FaZe wins and 1 Reciprocity win. Will we see another double, or will we see even a triple? We're about to find out. We're going on to I almost said Miramar. Whoa, calm down, James. It's time for Erangel, it's time for Sims, and it's time for Demon. Let's go.
Thank you very much. You got there in the end. So here we go. Erangel time. Will we see FaZe pick up a 3rd win on the day, make it FaZe Friday? I think they made it FaZe Friday already, with the 2 Miramar wins. Or will we see somebody else? Well, it's not a great plane for FaZe. It means they're going to bail and look for vehicles. And last time we've seen this, we've seen them losing players early on. So this is a risky move for them.
It's one of their big critiques, one of their negative factors, that when they do lose players, it is usually on transition early.
They may go in and around Lipovka, because NIP are going to be out there and up in George.
Done it before, where they've Lipo maybe left 1 or 2 players there, or generally just get the vehicles and then head on down and continue.
Oh, look at that, though. That Mex is right in ENCE territory. They're not going to be happy with that.
So we've seen this instance before where, I think it was the Knights, some players from the Knights actually unfortunately got dropped by not expecting where Mexi was. He's got 1 vehicle. We'll see if the content. In fact, they've got 2, so you'd expect him now just to blanket bomb and fly all the way down.
Has Fuzz managed to land safely? He's in a vehicle as well, so they're all in vehicles.
Failing that, they rush mansion before.
No,
that's the only other alternative.
Risky, though.
They've done it before. That's the only other alternative in this scenario, is that they rush mansion for the early points.
All right, tricky circle. It's got that north-south split in it. We have seen it obviously going the way of Everest multiple times. We've also seen it in and around the shooting range hills as well. Tricky one, because it is about 40-ish% in the north side. We're probably going to see ENCE gambling it up there. We may even see FaZe sort of going up there slowly. They actually are having a little bit of fun around Lipovka, it seems.
What is happening?
I think FaZe is just going to carry on south. Yep, FaZe are off south now. So Drain's just checking out that they've left, and off they go down to Milta Power.
I mean, it looked like they were going to pull in at one point, but I think the his presence just continued to push them down, which is fair play. They didn't know how many more players were actually there. There could have been multiple inside waiting for them, so they said, okay, well, we'll bail on this, do his usual job. TSM's done the same. They've headed on down to Milta, so Power is full, Milta's full, Farm, G2, usual spot. Rec up in Georgia Paul, around Crates area. Crates are amazing, by the way. Just putting it out there. If like the loot in Crates now.
Personal favourite?
It's just since I blame Ansvar for
this
one.
You're talking about in the
in public matches, that thing is absolutely loaded.
Yeah,
you go to Crates, you get geared up in seconds. It's amazing. It's incredible.
Going around Crates.
It's amazing.
I know, but I'm just one of those people who just be wandering around. I'm like, I just got shot. I have no idea where from.
It used to be one of those places where you'd be like, either go, go back 6, front 6, or don't bother. Go and have some fun.
Failed my jump on that crate. Whoops.
There's just so much loot now. Since the rebalance, it's full of gear. It's so easy to get geared up.
Ledge grabbing will make it easy, easy there, though.
Imagine when that comes.
Yeah, be leaping around all over the place.
It's going to be wild.
Unity and Rec, 1 point within each other now. Obviously fighting for that bottom place spot. We were talking about it. But obviously they want to look at getting out of there. That's the 3rd win for Reciprocity. Unity themselves have only got that 1 win, but it's just consistency lacking, really, in these teams. Like, you'll see Rec, I mean, they kind of had the circle, right? It's like, it's one of those wins where you get it, but it's unsatisfactory. I mean, they did well at the end. They did very well to take it and win it and push Navi and force the 2 teams to fight. So they did that, but outside of that, they weren't that involved.
So what's scary, and I'll kind of go back to how the desk touched on it, 9th place, Winstrike is only 50 points ahead of them.
Yeah.
Now, if you think back to
the gap between, what, 4th and 5th is 50 points?
That's ridiculous.
In itself, yeah. It's crazy.
Like, if you think what Rec did to themselves week number 1.
Yes.
They lost how many games will that have been? 4, 8, 9, 10, 12 games. And they basically didn't do anything, and they're still within a stone's throw of actually making out a relegation.
And after that, you think of having to learn the new loot routes, the new rotation paths, etc., with their adjusted path, because that obviously they had practiced for months for that spot. You know, they'd been fighting everybody coming into the start of Phase 2. knew they were going to be fighting with Vitality. And to make the adjustments on the, not so much on the fly, but in the official matches, live in the league.
That'd be a kick in the teeth for Vitality if they actually came above them and didn't go into relegation. Vitality did. Because there was a bit...
They're close, right?
Yeah, one point. And there was some banter thrown around on Twitter. Oh, nice crit.
Is that only 1
really
point?
Quickly.
Really?
If this is
Holy
updated...
cow, 213, 211, 210, 209. Oh my god, those bottom 4. Yeah. They are very close to one another. Yeah, a couple of good games and you can get out of here. But like
I mean, even the Knights aren't safe, right, in 12th. That's, what, 31 points?
Yeah, the Knights had a big week last week, which kind of saved them, or at least a couple of days where Reels and Co kind of went off and picked up their first victory along with Vitality, obviously getting their first victory last week. So, yeah.
What's happened to Unity? Honestly, 209 points. Like... fresh out of the contenders to move up and then just be all the way down there. For
me, it seems they're a little lost. Every time, certainly not so much on Erangel, but definitely on Miramar, you'd often see them, because they kind of, they pushed south of TSM and Hacienda area, they kind of have this weird spread loot, and then they kind of group up and try and get a kill on someone, rotating, be it Vitality, be it TSM, be it NIP, whoever's going down south, they'll always try and set up a camp. And it'll always backfire. Like, they'll lose 2, maybe even 3. Suddenly, like, it will just completely get backfired. They'll get turned on, and it will just go horrifically wrong, because all they've done is try to catch that lead car, and sure, that lead car may get caught, but the rest of the team are spread out, got an angle on you, and they're suddenly boom, boom, boom. They're losing two or three people.
Do you think they may be just having a bit of fun down in contenders, and this is like welcome to the big leagues, and they're just not ready for it, and they're playing out and they're still continued in contenders?
Maybe.
Because they
battered contenders. Well, I mean, they battered. It was 1 kill difference between them and Reciprocity in the final.
They slapped contenders.
Yeah, they battered everybody else. Yeah.
Then again, it was different, but it's actually different players, I believe.
It's also online as well.
Yeah, so there's 1,000,001 different things we can go through, but nevertheless, if they want to make it out of the relegation, Red Dead Zone down bottom 4, they have a hell of a lot of work to do.
NIP are going over the bridge. They're going over past crates, right next to Orange. Now, Orange is not in a vehicle, so he's been here silent. They don't know that he's there until he decides to strike. Is he going to go for Miruku? Miruku will certainly see him in a second.
He's still keeping his distance, which is fine. He's just feeding the information back to the rest of the team. Now he's given away the game.
Vard's getting shot as well from Crossroads. That's Reciprocity. I think they're taking pot shots onto him. Looks across towards Gaxi. That is open shots. Will manage to catch the tire out, and that's going to cause a problem for him. Whoa. Little tap return, MBS, quick tap.
He doesn't hit any of the bullets on any player, and then the first one that NIP fires, it just dinks him. Like, yeah, it speaks volumes to the level of what these...
Look at Pachinki.
Is he out there? What?
TSM, they're in there. Navi are piling in. Vitality are in the poor man's Pachinki North. And Team Liquid still have Samty in there somewhere as well. This is a little messy. Coming over. Dear me.
Hi, Rory. A little bit unfortunate. He went for the run over, which is fine. Bestaloch did read it well, so he at least jumped to the right-hand side to avoid that one. That's an M24. Should he need to go for it? But there is a response. Wookiee's there. The big man himself has pushed up. That grenade should hit the ditch and just roll to the left-hand side. If it doesn't, he'll be very lucky, but I doubt he's getting out of that one. I also appreciate the pre-grenade up towards the church. It's rather aggressive, but Wookieee has extended just a little bit too far. That's questionable. You could see him grenading towards the church, and you'd already expect players to be playing off the back of this. So to extend so brazen out into the open without any cover, it's a bit of a questionable play from me. He did well. 72 for 2 here. And what?
Where did that just come from?
Did he hit him through the bell tower window?
I think so.
What?
Well, oh, it's a northern shrink. Okay, everybody over the river. Everybody get in your cars. Everybody get out of here. Wookieee, I'm afraid you're gone. So TSM will lose Wookieee as well. And that leaves TSM down to 2. Gustav and Michael forced to back away from this one. Did not go well in that engagement.
How does he hit that? He's literally hitting through the window at that range.
So Knights first over that bridge, which means everybody else starts to abort, which means FaZe are going to go over the next bridge just ahead of G2, it seems. Now, actually, FaZe may even pull up on this bridge and try and go over. No, it looks like they're going to go right around Yasnai, which means G2 will go for the garage. You can see the Knights are pulling up on the first compound, so they're looking to try and camp and get them kills. Reciprocity, DA, Team Liquid all going in over the eastern side. M19 on a long rotate, along with Winstrike, who are coming in crossroads side. FaZe and G2 still crossing past each other. Going to be safe, and Na'Vi are going to be coming in pretty late on this one. Oh, Vitality, I think they're going to run straight into Rai.
So this is one of those wild circles where you do have the river that runs through the middle. We're not into phase number 4 yet. And that's where the water multiplier comes into play as we tick over to phase 4. So anything can still change now. A lot of these players are banking on it going up north, and you're seeing some wide and long rotations. Everyone hoping it moves more and closer.
That was, I mean, that was simply a foot race, right? Both of them pulled in at the same time, and who could jump out and get the shots off the quickest? Jeems, can you get a couple of those taps and save your comrades down there? I'm not too sure. It doesn't look like it. Razor Edge, we were talking about them clashing with Vitality. That is happening in Rozhok. Meanwhile, in the picture-in-picture there, as Samti and Ibi are lost causes.
First for FaZe has just hit all the way up to the north, just outside of Severny. When you come down the main road, you got a little 4-stack of townhouses. He's in there. ENCE are also sharing territory up that neck of the woods. That's
worked out really well for them, because you think they were running parallel with G2. G2 have been stalled out over the lakeside. Ooh, we're going across as well.
This will be brutal. We need to move over to G2's POV, because we've got the Knights on one side, DA on the other. So it'll be a brutal passage if they get across here. I think DA are just going to bail on this, but the Knights at the moment are holding a good position, because then the 2-2 split, they have the mini compound and then the Hagrid shack. So anything along that main road is basically, it's theirs.
Where's TL going to end up here? They're driving along. They're getting shot at by ENCE, by
that's got to go, surely.
CrowCrowd. Sixmo gets out, but, well, he's in the open, isn't he? He will get picked off. Or will he? No, he won't. There we go. Drayden confirms. So, Team Liquid are actually moved in right next to CrowCrowd. CrowCrowd's 2-2 split. May backfire on them here, because they've got 2 Team Liquid members that have moved in amongst themselves.
Vertnade's not going to go far enough.
Catches that 2D tree. Not for long.
Soon, TM.
Oh, TSM. TSM are going straight over the bridge down the south. They're going to run straight into G2. This is going to be messy. No way they're going to get across there without being picked off. Michael and Gustav. Gustav actually pulls up and decides to dive under the bridge. You can see Michael ditching it in the water as well. G2 got them covered on both bridges.
Yeah, unfortunately, there is members of G2 on the opposing side as well, so it's going to be a very difficult position to be in. Whoa, 60 minutes. Fast rail
just smashed him.
So that's G2 and Vitality both falling to the hammer of Raise Your Edge. I tell you what, that team, it's not as obviously as strong, but certainly when we look towards someone like Na'Vi, what a night and day scenario it's been so far from phase number 1.
Well, for Raise Your Edge?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, I'll hold my hands up. I was one of the people that looked at the roster change and said, that's a sideways move. That is not going to go well. I was very much questioning it, but it has absolutely paid off. Certainly seems to be working well. FaZe Clan, they found Mikaz. They were trying to crash. That's up in the crossroads. Now the circle has shrunk. It's gone over. And I got to be honest, I'm going to put my hands up as well again, because we have not seen this circle finish for a very long time. I question whether we've even had it in phase 2 so far.
Generally, everyone had some sort of, at least not an idea, but we're hoping that it would bank that way towards the north. Ooh, tab.
That's so greedy from FaZe. So Uber's in the warehouse, 8 is in the scrapyard, and Fuzz and Mexi are at the crossroads. That is a massively wide spread.
Tab needs to do something here. I didn't realize Kemba were in the back.
Oh wait, no, 8 is not at scrapyard. I'll tell a lie. M19 are going to get scrapyard though.
GMT's cooking a nade. We'll bounce it off the wall, but the Death Squad's here. Bye-bye Liquid. That's 15th place for them. At least secures a bit more of a foothold for CrowCrowd. I would like them to, again, get together. They are in a 3-1 split here. Set needs to group up, or if they group towards Set even, at least get themselves back in this as a unit. Speaking of units, Unity, and they've got Reciprocity just battling down their hatches. NIP are directly behind them. This is all happening on the western frontier. As we look down, Unity, they have to make the way upwards. Scoom takes one to the head.
Oh, no.
Are they actually disengaging from this?
A Winstrike pulled up on the hill as well, just to the north of them as well. You can see him down the ledge there. Rafi, yeah, you're getting picked off, son.
Uh-oh.
That's gone very wrong for Reciprocity, and that's two teams within a point of each other, and it's all going Unity's way.
They lose two just like that, unfortunately. And again, if you're not watching your back, anything can happen just like that. NIP are also, literally on the back door here for Rec. They need to disengage from this and get inside that little compound, or at least the warehouse hangar that's behind them.
Navi are going to find that warehouse on the top of the hill and be surprised and delighted that it's completely empty. I think they're kind of semi-scouting towards it right now, and they're thinking, we're not getting shot at. There's nothing, nobody over here. There's absolutely nobody on the north side. Now, it may shrink away from there, but that's a nice compound to get given to you.
Well, I mean, when you look at the, cubic meter around them, 400 meters, there's nothing else. Literally, that's all there is. So to be able to take this would be a huge advantage for them. Gaxi does find hacks, so again...
Scoom's the last man standing. Back to Snake in Reciprocity, isn't it? Scoom, Snake, Reciprocity. That's what we used to see in him, unfortunately. So where's it going to go? Is it going to go north? It's not. It's going to center up. And that is great for the Knights. Now, they're in the garage compound. It's not a great compound, I'm not going to lie. That's a pretty horrible one. CrowCrowd need to sort of push together here. Raise your edge. Have this entire southern side to themselves, and they can push up. They've got a really nice hill to work with there.
All the vehicles here for Winstrike. It's time for them to make a move. You did mention about Navi, the circle potentially going behind them. M19, as you did say, we'll have a look on that kill feed. I think they may have just been clipped on their arrival here. Grenade goes down from Uber. Winstrike also pushing on the other side. So FaZe have to take a battle on two fronts here.
Fuzz pushes around and instantly gets flushed down by Tixu. So that leaves Mexi solo. Meanwhile, Uber has also gone down. FaZe Clan may well fall in 13th place here. 80 doing what he can. Mexi trying to hold them off. No support, no pressure. Winstrike will push in. They will lose one, but it's instantly traded, and down goes Mexi. 80 though took Dimash down, and I think he's won out the battle at his shack.
So that's at a point where usually FaZe would normally move, because you've got this 2-2 scenarios. They do put the footholds to barter on where the circle will be shifting. They were just a little bit too late. Winstrike was hot off the press, straight in the vehicle, straight for the aggressive push. And they catch two players. Navi also arriving. Unfortunately, FaZe Clan are well and truly out of luck. They will not get the hat trick of wins today. 12th position will be their gravestone in game number 4.
Winstrike, Nookie don't really fancy that push, and they know they hadn't quite got into the circle, but they're trying to push onto ENCE now. Well, that looked like a good nade. Straight onto Trifley, that one. Second one.
Oh, it was actually, no, it was
just
the Tracer.
A little short. Yeah, the Tracer's going a little short his way. M19, the Wanderer, trying to run it round. G2 just trying to group up. Raise your edge, starting to flex their muscles in the south, but they've got to be careful of TSM. Wouldn't that be ironic? A TSM player snaking in the back of Raise Your Edge, just like Fast Rail did on TSM in game number 1.
Sets on his own. All three players from CrowCrowd are just littered and scattered along the main road, this dirt track from where they are sitting. As you mentioned, Gustav earlier on, right behind enemy lines, and we look towards Raise Your Edge. Wanderer.
Oof. Barrel up close and personal. It absolutely shreds.
Oh, it's a dirty weapon. Like less than 200 meters, you might as well have a Groza. It just destroys any player. Long range, it's not going to do anything, but at this range, like for a breach or defensive weapon, you can't ask for any better.
Oh, he's trying to cook that nade and short. Oh, he just got wiped out by Jorski in the back there. And that is ENCE getting flushed. I tell you what, Winstrike, that's FaZe and ENCE they've just took down now.
I've never seen a bait and switch with a vehicle before. That's a first.
Back away in the motorbike mow down. NIP pushing down on the western side. They still have 4 alive. They've got Reciprocity with just Scoom alive. CrowCrowd with Tab way out there. What is this spread from CrowCrowd?
Again, I don't know what. I can't answer it.
There's absolutely no support for Tabby. I mean, I understand it, right? Okay, he's scouting, but
this isn't even a scout lead. Why would you scout towards the edge of the circle? This is just a stupid play. I'm sorry, but you need.
I was trying to give him something.
This late in the game, why are they doing this late?
Yeah, and you did.
Look, they've just got. They've had a full 4 team. Going over there gives them nothing.
I mean, it got traded by an Orm from Senpai. But yeah, that's completely lost. And actually, you know, considering CrowCrowd's position, they have arguably the strongest compound right now in this next circle, but they've just lost a player for nothing.
There was no reason to do that. if they'd have just grouped up and stuck together along that dirt road, they'd been happy. They'd had 4 men alive going into this. And they could have held back so many people.
And they're the only team that's yet to win. And maybe we're seeing white. NIP, they're going to be flanking around. And now CrowCrowd, they've got to worry about this 4-man push from NIP around that side. Not to mention what's going to go on north. Navi are going to come in towards the northern side of the Knights, while G2 come in the south side into this ditch. These 2 ditches either side of the garage compound. And that garage is not that safe. It has, obviously, those openings, ledges you can see and shoot underneath it. So problematic for them. And there's Gustav. He's snaking his way in behind Razor Edge. I think they feel slightly aware that somebody's back there.
I really want to see CrowCrowd do well because there's potential with this roster, but it's the split players what are their biggest problem right now. Senpai is currently trying to hold back NIP or encroaching on his position, and it's taken a good few minutes for Kemba to actually decide to turn up and help him out and support him. Set's still sitting back. I understand Set's train of thought. You want to hold the central compound that's inside the circle. I get it, that's fine. But the rest of them need to play around that and work together to keep a defensive stance. It's okay having a brilliant position going into this last circle, but if you've only got 1 man holding it, what's the point?
Well, Razor Edge may play helpers for CrowCrowd here and catch a couple of NIP out because they are 4-man surging. Kemba over the road, Senpai holding the angle. Set's going to put the shots off, and now Razor Edge are looking to third party anything they can here. Miraku taken down as he tries to go for the cross. Nade's going to try and flush it out. He's actually aiming that straight towards the other NIP members. Gaxi going to return fire nades back and forward. He's got Vard up close and personal. He's going to toss that nade straight on Kemba.
I'll try and hit the back of that vehicle. The first one should have pushed him out, and look at that. Perfection, coordinated. NIP at his finest. Throw
Razor
one
Edge
to the front and then one to the back. Force him into the nade, which they do. He falls on the sword, and all of a sudden, as you mentioned, Fast Rail and Sigsy, they want to get involved in this. They've heard the action going down, and for them, Razor Edge, it's just 3 points if they manage to catch some.
Senpai with nothing left. 5 hit points is all he's got. Meanwhile, look in the bottom there. Navi and G2 both making a push onto the Knights compound. They're going to clash with one another as they come around. The nades are back and forward between those as they try and force.
Look at all the smoke.
Smoke traded down. They just got to hope that, and G2 are, to be fair, flushing and pushing around onto Navi.
Yeah, this is kind of the same scenario than the previous game where 2 teams just need to eliminate each other to help one out and then get involved. For the Knights, they won't get involved in that. There's no need. At the moment, their main focus is to get down their fallen comrade. Remember, they've committed so much utility. All the smokes have gone out. They have just abused everything that they've got. It's so key and so important now to get this player up and just go for a stance. Unfortunately, Chris does see him, steals the kill away, Drayden joint. So all those smokes, unfortunately, will be for nothing. And now they have to stand their ground if either G2 or Navi want to push onto the compound and try and take control of it.
And back in the other fight that we saw, NIP, they've wiped out CrowCrowd from that compound. Set's the last man standing for them. They've got all 4 back on their feet. So CrowCrowd lost 3 players for nothing so far. It's not really worked out well for them, this pretty random split. Now the Knights picking off Navi, Winstrike from behind. Yeah, cheeky. He's on the... Where is he? Bonnet there? I think it looks like he's on. So Wanted just smashes down. The Knights absolutely need points. They just saw, of course, Reciprocity getting the victory in that last game. You know, these are all teams coming from below, from behind them. They need to make sure they can keep that gap.
Nuki goes down. G2, read it. Winstrike, bye-bye, boys. And then we're getting to the top half of the table at least. This leaves Navi and G2 now to fighting out. Razor Edge waiting.
Oh, that's distance. A nice crowd. Nice nade, yeah. Nice little set, stop nade, we used to call them in Call of Duty 4 days. As he pops it out there, Set rips the head off Miraku, and Sigsy steals it away instantly.
Trying to load all this one. Vard holding point. Good effort, good ideology behind it, but Vard has read it well. Stood his ground, no pre-fire.
Look at MBS. MBS has got himself across the road somehow. Vard's found Sigsy. NIP pushing the hillside. So Vard's on top with the SKS on top of the dash here, looking to try and secure that frag. Udia, he's found a big headshot onto a doozy there it was, I believe, around that tree line as he continues to tap, tap, tap.
Things you can do this with the Scar. When you have the vert grip and the comp on the front of it, these guns just become so accurate and you can control the spray so much more. Remember, These sprays are completely random. They're not set. If you can reset your reticle, you can do all kinds of damage, especially with the attachments on finally. It's split between two, Snark and Udyr. Between them, the Knights and G2, they finish off Na'Vi. So all of a sudden now for G2, the focus is on who's left inside that garage.
MBS just belly crawling forward. Don't forget Gustav in that background. We've seen, don't forget, and also we should point out, Gustav is in what, top 5 fraggers of the entirety player base here. I think he's around about 4th place. So we've seen him so many times going off and causing problems for teams, but it forces Razor Edge into NIP territory. That compound they just fought for is absolutely crucial.
Remember, we've still got Gustav.
Yeah, that's what I just say. We've seen him.
It's his time to move now, though.
He's took down. God, what did he do? Actually, it was NIP. He took down NIP in a 1v3. I believe he took 3 members of M19 out before. He's caused problems on. I can't think who the other team was, but he's definitely caused problems. I mean, he's got no frags right now. It could be nothing, but we have seen him single-handedly picking up multiple points.
The hard approach for G2 on this one is that wall. Yes,
Udyr's up against it.
There's an elevation site where you can get, you know, and think, okay, well, we can get here and get to that wall, but the fact that you can shoot below it.
Did FastRail see him? Look at this, he's cooking this nade. That's going right on him.
Hi.
That's so nice, so nice. Well done, FastRail. I think he must have spotted him and thought, I am not going to take this fight with the snake. I'm just going to back away and toss a nade in your face. Very nice. Okay, here we go. 3v3. Don't fancy the Knights' position, if I'm honest, here, because this is a horrible compound.
They've been smoked up, so the approach will be... I don't really know where they're going to be coming from. All the vehicles are on this side to give them extra line of defense. Here we go. Breach and clear. 1 down, 2 down. Mid-red. Bye.
Wow.
Bye. Look at that. Breach and clear. Perfection from G2. That's how you take a compound, boys.
Oof. FastRail just caught a big old headshot on Christo straight away. So Razor Edge just going to bunch up. They found Gaxi. Is that going to be go time? Will they be able to push on this? I'm not too sure. It's quite a run. And Vardia holding that nice angle on them at the moment. They can get another couple of damage down on Vardia. It will force them to push across. They're trying their best. That's for damn sure, but it's not going to happen. They can't quite get the grenade range in. You can see they're bouncing just slightly short. And G2 are using this advantage. They're using this chance to get across the road.
Yeah, I absolutely love this play. Chris, unfortunately, probably didn't expect the off angle here, and that's the job of Udyr now. Keep them at bay while it lets his players just get more centralized on a decent position. This is an uphill struggle and an uphill battle.
Look at this.
The positive factor is that these players on top of this with the background will be silhouetting, so it gives them a tiny bit of an advantage. But now, because look at G2, they're the only ones into the side of the circle.
When we're talking about support players, that's exactly what Udyr was doing there. He was doing the cover fire, cover fire, cover fire. We saw Chris go over first, and then he wasn't even aiming him. He saw the head on the top there, but it wasn't really aiming at him. He was just landing the bullets nearby, just causing him to duck the heads down, and that allowed Brexco. So obviously now we have Chris and Brexco, 2 absolute monsters up close on the ridgeline. It's still a horrible position for G2. Don't count it out here. But the circle has gone with their way. And Brexco, while he's lying in the little ditch in no man's land, that's almost the central point.
My question is, did Razor Edge fail their chance here? I'm hoping they've got smokes. If they are, they need to be bombarding that building now. Just deny line of sight. Throw every single smoke, like they're smoking themselves here.
Chris is moving as well. They're all coming for this. G2 is going to try and move around. They're smelling the blood. Look at Chris. He's going to try and flank around. Udyr's just standing in the open now. Brexco's also making the move. They're all looking to get a slice of Razor Edge, and everybody is shooting their way. There's one player from VAR gone down. Brexco might even push on NIP's compound. Razor Edge full. Brexco, if he could push this, VAR's down.
Udyr, last man to just arrive at the party, and they can basically just pin NIP.
They don't need to move now. They have the ridge.
It's, I think that's going to be a GG for me. Although I won't count out NIP because we've seen what individuals on this team can do when they're up against it. The problem is now is that they're going to be lacking utility, lacking gear. Their vests, their helmets, they're going to be damaged. They've already had some knocks. There's no more reses alive. Gaxy's got a smoke. He should put that down. Try and deny one corner here. If they can put it up against the blue, at least cut off a certain percentage.
And they've no clue where G2 are. They've no clue on the positions of G2 because they've obviously just been so focused on Razor Edge. They know that Chris is somewhere on that ridge, and they know Brexco is somewhere on that ridge. That is actually a pretty damn good smoke straight onto Brexco, but it also gives Brexco freedom to move around that smoke as well.
So they've still got smokes between them, which is good. And they just line them all up. Getting as close as they humanly can, building a wall. They might get lucky with one of these frags, and red will be the frag, and all of a sudden Chris, he spots one, the door's open. It looks like it's going to be go time.
Yeah, Chris pops in, and Chris pops off. That is going to be 13 kills for G2. And if you think of their position, the other side of the garage, with Na'Vi and the Knights all squashing into one another, with Winstrike coming behind, you would have never put your money on G2 coming out with winners out of that.
I mean, they had to fight for it, right? The pressure that they applied onto the Knights, they never let up. They had to deal with Na'Vi first, and okay, a few things went their way with Na'Vi. You saw Winstrike just poking him at the back.